Chris Rock Show, the core of new rock and metal.
Hello, welcome to an interview on the Short Chris Rock Show. I'm Short Chris Stevens with no voice. Apologies. And I believe Pete, who is the vocalist of San Lorenz, who's joining me right now, also has not much of a voice today. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's not great, is it today? I think I've just overused it. I've done a lot of chatting this week, so I wish it was for something more exciting. But yeah, lots of talking.
Love it.
If you want it out.
So what have you been up to today? I believe you've been working in a studio.
Yeah, we run one of the many other stupid things I do. I decided it was a good idea to run a recording studio.
Nice.
So I've just been recording a band today. I've just snuck out Con, who I run it with, still tracking them, and I've run out into the van.
Fantastic.
These are the little lights that are...
Perfect lighting.
Yeah.
Speaking of voices, I absolutely love your voice from what I've heard on the album, seen on the videos. I think it's really unique. How did you kind of discover your singing voice?
Oh, I suppose a willingness to push myself, and I was told I would say it was brave, but I was told from quite an early age that I had a good voice. So
nice.
That obviously, if everyone was telling me I was bad, I probably wouldn't be doing it. But when people tell you all the time, like, oh, that's really good, you trust it. And and obviously a lot of singing is kind of trusting yourself, and also just doing it a lot. I suppose you know how far you can go. So that obviously that changes day to day. Some days you can sing more than others, and all that. But yeah, it's been a fun thing. It's been a fun journey with the voice.
Nice. So you've been playing some local shows recently. Like I said, it's really cool to be able to support a local band. We're both Wirral boys from what I can see today.
We absolutely are, yeah, and proud. I love being from the Wirral.
And you actually played a show in our wonderful venue in Birkenhead, Future Yard, recently.
Yes.
Headlined it. How was that?
Oh, fantastic. Well, first of all, obviously Future Yard is my favourite venue ever. It's fantastic.
We love Future Yard.
You get so it's just they're just the good guys. I think that they run the shows really well. It's you kind of go up and down the country, and then once you've done that a few times and you go to some really good venues, it's there's a standard there of like, okay, across the country there's really good venues out there, and it's so nice to kind of have a really, really good one so close to home. The team are great. They're supportive of everything that we do. It's just a great venue, as in the stage is great, the sound's great. They do so much, like, what's the word, extracurricular stuff. I can't think of it.
Extra activities
to help out. Like community stuff. They do so much of that. It's just an organization that's doing fantastic things, and as a band, it's just a great place to play.
Love that. Do you find, I don't know about you, but I still find it really weird seeing Birkenhead coming up on tour schedules
100%, yeah.
Like, what is that?
It's so strange. I don't think that'll ever not be surreal, because obviously that was just when we were growing up. That was just not a thing at all. So now to see it like some of these bands, obviously some of these bands that you love, and you see that they're playing in Birkenhead, you're like, how did this happen?
Hey, it saves us 30 quid in the taxi in the tunnel.
I know.
People will be listening to this around the country not having a clue what we're going on.
I know. Tunnel, what's that? Like, well,
come to Birkenhead. It's not awful. Anyway, so you guys were originally known as SPQR. I wanted to know what was behind the name change, and how did you settle on the name San Lorenz?
So we were on tour with John, and we were playing a show in Milton Keynes, and somebody came up to us afterwards and said, "Oh, I really love that set. Just by the way, are you white supremacists?" And I was like,
"Oh God,
ooh, no." And I was like, "No, but why?" And then she kind of showed us. Well, we've got a lot of other stuff became aware to us after that, but she kind of showed us like there's just a lot of online stuff there, a lot of like kind of white supremacist stuff on like stuff like Reddit and stuff that I had no idea obviously it was happening. I think it's important for me to say that I think I was 19 when I chose the name SBQR, and I'm
Okay.
just a big fan of Roman history, and I just thought it was a
Ah,
cool name. But so yeah, we had to change it after that. I think it was immediately it was like, okay, this is bad.
yeah.
Obviously, just to clarify, I do not share those beliefs whatsoever. So I thought we need to just, be honest about what's happened here. There's obviously just been it's just a fucking unfortunate thing, and just move on and do a new name. Um, so we did, and it was like I think we were kind of arguing about it. We had like about 100 names all written down. Everyone was fighting all the time. Really stressful time. And then the actual act of changing a band's name when I wouldn't say we're like very established, but when you're a
Mm.
little bit established, changing a band's name is so hard
Yeah,
to,
it's a
to
big thing.
to navigate. But we settled on San Lorenz, which is just I obviously I had to do my research and just check like, is San Lorenz racist? No, it's fine.
Oh no.
um, but yeah, to be honest, there was another thing as well. Obviously, I think, like I said, I chose the name when I was 19,
Mhm.
so I think we'd all moved on from it, and people would ask us at shows like, what does SPQR stand for? And you'd have to do the whole like explaining it to people, and it would just be everyone hated doing it. Whenever someone was like, "What does SPQR mean?" They'd just find me and go, "You say it because I don't want to." Um,
The classic question, what's the name of the band mean? Okay, so
so
let's move it on then for you. So you finally released your debut album, A Death at Sea, last month on the 14th of October. I've been
yeah,
giving it a listen multiple times the last couple of days, and I love
thank you
it.
so much.
Came following a long limbo in lockdown, though. So I wanted to know how you felt about finally getting it out there. What's the response been like for you?
Finally, I mean, yeah, we sat on it for a long time. I suppose if there's one thing I've learned is to be quicker with music. I think
Okay.
I think everyone should probably be quicker than not people are not like us, but yeah, it took a long time. I kind of had to decide actually whether when all the stuff kind of happened, kind of post COVID, I had to kind of decide whether to kind of leave the album even longer and kind of
Hmm.
spread it out as like singles, really, because
Okay.
but I thought no, I'm just gonna have to. It's been too long now. I'm just gonna have to put this out, otherwise it's gonna make me not want to make music anymore, which would be sad. I think sometimes you have to
Yeah.
just do it, even though it wasn't it wasn't really going to get the fanfare that we were expecting. I think we were approaching some fairly big labels when we were kind of writing it and recording it, and
Yeah.
we were just like, do you know what, this is a possibility. This could happen, and we got a bit excited. Obviously, around the time we were kind of approaching these labels, they were all reeling from COVID, still in the
Oh,
midst. That is still in the absolute depths of COVID, really. So they were kind of, the responses were often like, this is great, but where do you think we have got the money at the moment to take on like a risky band? Which obviously any band that's like ours is risky, because
mhm.
it's
It's still
you don't know
building.
which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
But
Can you explain the reason behind the title of the album for us?
of course, I um a death at sea. It was just a little. I wrote it was a little poem, I suppose, at the
Oh, okay.
time. I think for a lot of my life, I've felt quite sort of distance from myself, and
Hmm.
I kind of came up with this little poem that was kind of about somebody sort of who died on a ship,
Okay.
or on a boat or whatever, and they'd been sort of cast overboard, and then but they were kind of obviously dead, but still a bit alive,
Mm.
still conscious in some way, and you just like floating in a casket in the middle of the ocean, because that's like quite a lot of the time how I felt. I'm actually getting
Okay.
a bit better at that.
Good.
I'm learning how to kind of navigate not dissociating,
Yeah.
making my own
Is there
decisions. But
any
yeah,
advice you could give for people who are coping with the same issue?
definitely. I think if we're talking specifically about sort of derealization,
Hmm.
or any kind of distance from the self, numbness or whatever you want to call it, um I think being true to yourself. I know that sounds so cliche, but being true to yourself. And when I say being true to yourself, make your own decisions. You know,
Yeah.
be brave. Be brave in getting what you want and in getting what you need as a person. And I think if you are brave and you kind of put yourself, you put yourself first, you slowly
Yeah.
will start to come back into yourself as the decisions you make feel more you.
I
Um,
really relate to that myself, actually. I understand that. That's a
yeah.
wonderful way of putting it.
Of course, because I
Appreciate
think a lot of us spend our whole lives trying to pleasing other people,
it. Mhm.
and kind of put ourselves last. Whether that's because we've got low self esteem, or it comes from a lot like a myriad of places. But
Yeah.
um, I think I think taking little steps to do things for yourself brings you back to the point where hopefully you can, because you can still do things for yourself and also
Yeah.
things for others. It's not like you have to be selfish. It's just making sure you're not putting yourself away, because as soon as you start tucking yourself away, that's when you start drifting away from yourself.
Mm.
So
That's
yeah,
I appreciate that. That's lovely. That's a really good piece of advice, actually. And we normally like to wrap up with pieces of advice like that, but it's nice to have that a bit earlier in the interview.
of course.
Um,
Yeah,
so I took a look at the obviously loads of pictures and press releases and stuff like that for the music. It features a lot of beaches and stuff like that. So I was wondering, can you tell us where it is? Was there any beaches locally that were on the list?
I think like I think a lot of it was Formby, Formby
Ah,
Beach,
okay.
which I think every band in Liverpool has at some point done a photo shoot on Formby Beach. I think we've done two now. This is our
Love
second
it.
one. So,
West Kirby, not quite on the list.
do you know why I considered West Kirby actually?
Red
I don't know
Rocks,
why
come
I
on.
wasn't really. I think it's because Formby has like a lot of different locations, even though West Kirby
Oh,
does.
okay.
So. Plus, it's kind of, but like you can do like all the trees look weird. You can do the woods. You can do the beach. You can do the sand dunes. Like you've got options in Formby.
Love that. So I think my personal favorite on the track, on the album would be Adjust the Angle. So
Yeah,
quite a
my
different
favorite as
tune.
well.
I love how different it is. Like you've got all the
Yes, my
chords going
favorite.
all over the place. I love it. So can you tell me a bit about how that song was written, a bit of what it's about?
Of course, yeah. This is great. Look, I love this. I need to do more interviews. This is fantastic. Yeah. I'm always dying constantly to talk about myself. Far more vain than I let on. Yeah,
Ain't never a
adjust
bad
the
thing.
angle. Um, yeah, I wrote. Yeah, a lot of those kind of songs around that time for the album were just, it was the start of lockdown, and
Mhm.
I was just demoing on my laptop at home,
Okay.
playing around with stuff. I came up with that little melody on the keyboard,
Yeah.
and I thought I really liked it. I think it had something to it. No one else really liked it. I don't think anyone in the band was really blown away. They were like, kind of sounds
They're
a bit
wrong.
like, kind of sounds a bit weird and not really anything. And I was like, yeah, I know, but just it's good. um, and then so then yeah, just write it. I tend to just kind of um put myself in a place where I can be creative and connect with myself. And obviously that
Mhm.
was quite easy for me during COVID because I work a lot most of the time, but
Yeah.
during COVID I was furloughed and I didn't have as much to do, which gave me the space to kind of find to be creative. And then I suppose it was about, so just on, like basically on the day, I think it was either the day or the day before that we got that video of kind of Boris Johnson saying you can't go outside anymore,
Yeah.
you can't see anyone. My mum was diagnosed with cancer,
Oh man, I'm
so
so sorry.
so that song was kind of about me feeling guilty. I think a lot of stuff hit me at once of like I said, I think I'm starting to grow up a bit now, but I felt
Yeah.
feelings of guilt that I wasn't a very good child. I feel like I can be a selfish child. I feel like I can be very self-absorbed, and I just thought, and when you find out that like your parents is ill in that kind of sense, it kind of makes you
Mm.
think, God, I need to, well, like the lyric in the song, to be a better son. I suppose the lyric is like, the kind of the jokey kind of lyric in the chorus is,
Yeah.
relieve me of that handle. Obviously, the handle being the sun. Adjust the angle. I could live another life. So it's like, or
Oh,
carry
okay.
on and be a better son. So it was either like, do I just do I let, or do I disown my mum and so she doesn't have to deal with me anymore, or do I,
Oh,
knuckle down and try and be a better child?
do you feel like you developed into that better child?
Yeah, I think I'm learning to try and be more honest. I think like we kind of said before, because I'm not um very honest with myself to other people. It's like the
Mhm.
derealization thing because I'm just kind of people pleasing that separates me from the people that I love because I'm just like, you're not really getting the real me. So
Yeah,
what are we doing? So but I'm getting better. I am getting
good,
better.
good. So you recently dropped the video for Accessory. Um, you must have been absolutely freezing in that water. Can you tell me what it was like to film?
Do you know what? It was, these are great questions, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this is fantastic. Um, I I was nervous at first, but to be honest, I kind of had like, I was in a bit of a bad mood that night. I was very stressed, and then I kind of got a hose shot on me for like half an hour out of freezing in like freezing cold weather, and I was like, God, I feel alive, and I was like, I'm gonna get into cold water swimming and all that. I just felt it was quite invigorating, is the
Yeah,
word. And I felt
always
like, wow, I
uplifting.
don't feel how I did before. So I'm probably going to get into cold water swimming when I've got time.
That's the new ambition. I expect to see that on Instagram.
I will do it.
Um,
I will post it if it happens.
it's also great to see that all of the band members take part in the videos as well.
Yeah.
But I wanted to check, is there any who feel like are they all happy to be part of that, or is there some that you have to kind of push in a little bit?
The band.
Yeah, to feature in the videos.
Um, I think to be honest, I think everyone's usually pretty game.
Yeah.
Um, I think we had to kind of decide. This is honestly once again me being vain. We had to kind of decide with these videos. It was a bit like, I was always a bit like, oh, do I have to be like at the front? But I think we all decided like, yeah, if you have to kind of be at the front of all of this. You've got no choice because
Mhm.
it's your band. I'd quite happily step back sometimes, even though,
Yeah.
like I said, I am very vain. But I'm a shy. It's shy vanity.
Shy Vanity. That's your
Yeah,
next
no,
album.
I think they're all better than me, to be honest. But yeah, they're all really good.
I love that. Is there a particular video that's been your favorite to make?
Where's the shock was the nicest, which
Yeah.
is where we just, it was, I don't know why we'd never done it before. Well, because it's probably sensible, but we'd never really like drank for music videos, and I think a lot of people do to kind of get a bit of Dutch courage. And we were like, we've never done that before. We've always done them stone cold Steve Austin, and that's such a stupid thing to say. Um, and we
We'll
just
take
thought,
it.
so we got like two bottles of whiskey, and we kind of drank them quite quickly, and by the end it was just chaos. But obviously the whole premise of the video was that it started very clean
Yeah.
and pristine, and then it ended incomplete. The set was wrecked, and we were all covered in paint, and everyone was diving around, and so it was just very true, really. We started off sober and just doing this nice little video. By
Yeah.
the end, all of the kind of flailing about and falling on the floor that you can see in the video is everyone just really drunk.
I love that. Beautiful chaos. Beautiful chaos. Um, so in terms of live stuff, you've got a New Year's Eve party coming up in Liverpool at Jimmy's.
We have,
Do
yeah.
you want to tell us a little bit about that? What's coming up?
Yeah. Yeah, it was um fantastic to be part of that, really. I was I was having a coffee with one of my friends, Anna, who's in Torture and the Desert Spiders, who's also on the bill. And she was
Okay.
just like, "What are you doing on New Year's Eve?" And I was like, "Don't know." She was like, "Do you want to do this gig?" And so I was like, "Yeah." So
Nice.
I'm excited. I like New Year's Eve. I think can be quite on the border, can't it? It can either be like
Mm.
a sit on your own, crying kind of thing, or it can be surrounded by your friends, having a great time thing. So
Yeah.
I feel I feel very excited that I'll be doing something, and I'll be um you know surrounded by people I know, and
Sounds like it's
hopefully
going to be awesome.
like.
Yes. So, what is the next big dream / step for San Lorenz?
I think the touring at the moment is the massive push. I think
Mhm.
especially me and Con as well shares this kind of sentiment. Do you know what? Everybody does to a degree, but if you ask me what I want to be doing with my life, I'd be on tour all the time.
Yeah.
I obviously I know someone who's maybe toured a lot more than I have will be like, yeah, you say that, but when you've been doing it for 7 years. But at the moment, I really enjoy the lifestyle of it. I love
Yeah.
playing live. I like, you know, I like being in the van. I like kind of driving places. I like doing fun stuff with my friends. So
Yeah.
we just need to be doing more of that. And obviously, still writing songs, and always got my eye on like the next things, like the next album, and thinking what that's going to be like. So the dream thing would just be is that like a lot of kind of tours come in, and we get to do that a lot
Yeah.
more.
There's nothing better than live music and being in a venue. It's one
It's
of the
good.
best things that makes me smile and cry at the same time.
It is, and it's really it's a fun thing. I think there's always to be honest, we've gotten so streamlined at touring now that there's not even stressful anymore. It's we're like a military unit.
I love that.
It's very organized from start to finish. Just to kind of save any heartache or pain or anything. If we can keep the stressful stuff to a minimum, then we can just have a good time rather than being like, "Where's me amp?"
All of the chaos as always.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you'd like to say or promote at all?
Well, I'd like to say thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
It's been wonderful to chat
It's
with you.
been it's been fantastic. You've been fantastic. The questions are amazing. You've clearly listened to the album. You've clearly
Thank you.
like thank you so much.
It's a
That
great
means so much
album.
to me.
Honestly, it's a brilliant album.
That means so much to me. It's lovely to connect in this way, and thank you for obviously facilitating that.
More than welcome. Honestly. Right, go and check out a Death at Sea by the wonderful. Oh my god, I can't speak. Hold on. I'll
All
let
right,
you
you're
do
fine.
it. Go on, you do it. It's your
Yeah,
band.
go and check out the wonderful A Death at Sea, the debut album A Death at Sea, out out now, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
uh,
out.
by San Lorenz. It's only streaming at the moment, but we've got vinyls and CDs coming on the 24th of
Yes,
October because there's a
I
lot
saw
big
that.
wait for vinyl at the moment for little bands like us.
Get on the Linktree link as well. That's got all the
Yeah, the
stuff,
link
right?
tree is way. I fucking spent ages on the link tree.
It's going to be amazing. Well, Peter Harrison of San Lorenz, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, mate. I'm going to let you get
You
back to
too.
your recording studio.
The fun never stops.
Oh, honestly, all the best, mate. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much.